Welcome back. So this week there's a bunch of things going on in preparation for the open house in another week from now. So these are the side stick mounts. So the second one has been laid up and now trimmed and ready to be put into place. And the aileron actuators came back from powder coat, and so I've put those bosses that I milled on the machine there the other day into place. I had to do a little bit of filing just in that slot there just to get everything to move nicely, because the fit was just like right on the money. We needed about 5 thou clearance just to allow those to move nicely, so that's done. And here Jeff's doing another infusion here to create some more of that flat stock carbon fiber for the instrument panel. So that one is just set up there ready to go. And here Jeff's laying up the new little aileron box after we had to make an adjustment there in the setup for where the aileron's main rod or actuator is there. It meant that box had to be a little bit smaller than the one we laid up a while ago, and plus the one we laid up a while ago we actually didn't lay it up heavy enough for the pressurization, and this one has been laid up like that. And this is that piece of carbon fiber that was laid up I guess last week, so I'm actually going to have a test run at it here to see if I can cut the instrument panel and just to see how that's going to fit. And if it doesn't work out, or if there's something slightly wrong, then that's what Jeff's laying up that new stuff for. That'll hopefully have a nicer finish on it than this one, because this one was a little rough with a different resin. Anyway, so basically ran around and did all that. So as you can see, cut out the opening there for the main G3X and also the vent for the passenger side there. And this is just a little fast sped up here where it's just running around the outside, cutting the final shape out. So I think I sped this up, I don't know, 8 times maybe. And I had it running a little bit slower than I normally would have, and the second ones that I did later on sped it back up again, and was cutting nicely. Of course, it doesn't take much, and those bits, the end mills that we use, go off and you have to put a new one in. But anyway, this is after just sort of taking a bit of sandpaper to all the edges where the cut is there and just cleaning off any little bits of dry carbon fiber. So that one came out alright. And just walking over here to the aircraft, you can see that's kind of where it's going to live. So all the holes have been drilled in there now, so now I have to match drill all those and set and tap some holes and do some nut plates and things. Anyway, so Jeff's laying up the first of the new seat mounts now. So because remember we had that mold and we rushed through that, so it's moving along quite quickly. And here's the other side panel done now. So I actually got both the left and the right, and actually ended up redoing both of those with the new bit that Jeff laid out. And this is the second, actually, so that's still the first seat mount. Jeff just did one at a time in there, and then these are some little brackets that he's just laid up there that are going to be the hinge brackets for the nose compartment hatch, and you'll see those in a little bit. And the white thing that they're laid up on is what I 3D printed the other day, which is just a basic mold. And so here's that seat mount. So it's done. Actually, I believe this is the second one now, and so that one's all done and just waiting to be released from the mold. So we ended up doing both of them this week, the front and the back one for the front seats. And here's the first one. So this is the rear one, and that's been trimmed off. Devin got on that one and trimmed it all. So that just needs to have the holes drilled in there for the seat mounts, and that one's ready to go. And along with those aileron actuators you saw before, this is the toe bracket for the nose gear, and then the light mounting bracket. Those came back from powder coat, and Jeff went and mounted the two HID lights to those, or to that bracket. So that's ready to go on the nose gear now. And this is another infusion for, this is just laying up another bit of the flat stock there, which is going to make up the carbon that we need for the center panel for the instrument panel. And as you can see here, this is sort of sped up here just to show you what the infusion looks like. And this is 64 times speed, so it took about 10 or 12 minutes to infuse across there. So That's basically how the infusion works, just the vacuum on one side drawing the resin through and sort of soaking through into the carbon, and just putting a line there just to sort of see where it is, and then you can see over time how it progresses from there. So that one's all laid up, and next week I'll be able to cut that one out, but that one's just because we're going to put the flat or the tablets in front of that. That's just going to be a plain flat panel for the prototype initially. And back on the seat mount, so here I've got the first one just clamped onto the table, and so that I can use the machine to drill the 4 holes in there and get them nice and accurately done for where the seats mount to. And just started out with a small bit and then worked my way up to the 5/16 bit. And here the guys are finally getting underway with creating the molds for these last of the upper 4-plane skin plugs. So this is the first one here, right hand side, that they're laying the top coat down on. And so now this is the rear one of the front seat mount, so got the holes drilled there and made those little flat spots there, so when the seat mounts bolt to those, they bolt and sit down firmly. As you can see, the holes there are nice and clean, so just ready to bolt that one up to the seats now. And there's the old one there for the front still in place, holding the seats together. And so then Jeff had released the front one, so I actually trimmed that one off yesterday, and so there it is, basically just the flanges all trimmed off, and so that one just needs to be cleaned up around the edges and get the holes drilled in as well. So here the guys got the first layers down on this guy, where it's actually still in the process of laying that down. They just got the first lightweight layer of glass on there so far, so they still got to do the peel ply and stuff on there. And Jeff laid up this one. This is this little add-on for the firewall that's going to allow the parachute room there behind the firewall, or in front of the firewall I should say. So that one's laid up, and here the guys finished off this one yesterday, so that's got the peel ply and everything. So Monday that will be ready to put the heavy layers on that one and finish that mold, and then the guys will be able to hopefully get on to the other one. And here are those little brackets that you saw before that are going to be the hinge points for the nose hatch, and they're just basically set in place there right now. And lastly, the new seat mounts are in, so the seats are now 3 inches higher than they were, well actually 2, because of we don't have the blocks, or we had the blocks in there before. Anyway, sitting up there now, it's got the right view, and you see how much more room there is now under the seat, so you can put bags and stuff under there now. Anyway, so that's great, and just to also let you know, I've ordered the stuff for the air conditioning system, and we're going to actually have a full-on climate control in there as well, a digital one that's available, and I'll tell you more about that on Tuesday. Anyway, that's our update for this week, and thanks again for watching.